Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. 'Tis I, the Silver-Quill, welcoming you once again to a Fulfillment, Thursday. Shaking things up because it's going to be a different kind of weekend for little old me. Of course, I get to be witness to a wonderful union as one of my friends, Grandpa's, ties the knot, and I'm so looking forward to seeing everybody. The general game plan is go up for a pre-wedding dinner tomorrow, check into a hotel, and then the wedding on Saturday and a farewell brunch on Sunday. So a good weekend overall. But I don't want to leave everybody hanging. I don't want to fall behind in projects, which is kind of my my rap, isn't it? I fall behind. Oh, well. But in the meantime, I've got folks to say hello to, like Cherry Fluff Belly Official and Adam Leisman. Enderpup says they might be a little late for the stream, but they'll be here for the latter part. So no worries there. We'll look forward to seeing you. Swordbreaker 12, who unfortunately, it sounds like people were trying to break into your home again. I'm so sorry. Last Sunday at 1:30 in the morning. Geez, I hope you're okay. I hope your home is okay. Wish I could offer more than just that, but most of all, I'm glad you're okay. And we have Cosmina Inspira, who's asking everyone how their week was. Well, mine's been good. It's just been busy, always busy. That's always part of the deal. And then we have MLP Trinary. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. Eggman and Lunar Brony and Misty Dolphin. Hello, Misty. Paw Patrol Fan 95 and Nathan Duazo. Most excellent. Yes, excellent. Now, switching gears over to the Twitchy Twitch. Let's make sure there's any comments from yonder. Oh, yes. Doc Harbor, I believe, or is it Doc Harbor? There's so many ways to pronounce that. Doc Harbor, I guess would be the thing, but you say Doc at your service. So is it Dark Harbor? Oh my goodness. And Lee Sharon over on Twitch, plus Rainbow Flyer. Oh, and I missed Brig 7. Hello, Brig. Thanks for being here. And apparently, Swordbreaker, you've been seeing the second season of X-Men 97, which is unofficially known as X-Force 98. Nice. And Trey Flapelli's over on Twitch as well. Okay, the doc is giving you a prescription for pronunciation. It's pronounced Harbow as in awful. Harbow. No, wait, that's with an O. Harbow. Aw. Okay, it's like the aw in awful. I get you. Okay, that took me far longer than I felt comfortable admitting. So, I understand now. And, well, I apologize for the mispronunciation. I'm doing the best I can. But it's all a bit crazy. Life is crazy, but that crazy can be wonderful. So, good times, and I am hopeful for a good weekend. And I'm hopeful I can put this ballet pose to good use. You may wonder, well, Silver, what are you doing with ballet? You don't have the ankles for it. And you'd be right. But I'm once again returning to a project showing the main 6, or really characters from My Little Pony, and a Transformer, my other 80s passion. Basically, the Transformer I think they'd pair best with. And I was working on Twilight's pose. The idea having a book in one hand and a magical array of cutie marks flying over. But then I saw this pose. This pose of the dancer from the thumbnail. Or rather, sketch. And I thought, hey, that looks pretty good. So I did several things. We're just going to make that go away. I drew a different kind of pose for Twilight. Then I brought out our friend body-chan again to give me a better proportions, because I felt like I whiffed it on that sketch. Such whiffing. And that, granted, sketches you're allowed to whiff, eh? And so now it is time to put things together to see if I can draw a better style Twilight than what I started with. Also, we have down here the 13 primes, and I've only finished some of their icons. We'll do that in a little bit. Alrighty. So, we're just going to move Twilight, the old Twilight pose, off to the side, yeah? Because you never know. And I guess Optimus can go over here with his references. You know, it's kind of funny. I realize this Optimus drawing has windshield wipers, which is both funny, but I also feel like just a little less heroic. Not sure why. Maybe because it's really hard to imagine him courageously leading a charge when he accidentally activates them. Elizabeth Snowbell, welcome. You haven't missed much. We just started. Oh, we've got actually a whole bunch of new folks. Like Prince Crimson Rain is here. And Elizabeth Snowbell. And... and Trinary, you linked my 3030 discourse over on Blue Sky. Oh, no, it was on Twitter. You know, it's funny. While people laugh at Blue Sky's diminished presence compared to Twitter, which is still going, I feel pretty comfortable with the change. I know I'll never get the numbers I had on Twitter, but that doesn't mean as much to me. I'm not dissing anyone who is on Twitter. But for me, I think I made the right decision for me. So, let us begin. Now, Twilight's ears are just perfect spheres. Crimson Rain, uh-oh. Are you joining in the Sweetie Belle barrage? Either way, I appreciate the donation. Very nice, very kind. I just saw that figure and instantly flashed back to Sweetie Bloom. Anywho, also, let's get some music going, because otherwise, this just sounds a little ho-humish. Volume is currently all the way down. Yes, that's what we call a fade-out computer. Oh, it would also help if I turned on, or rather turned off, the mute. Hello, KGK Skull. You just beat Digimon Story Hacker, or Hacker's Memory. I'm not familiar with that. Actually, I only found out recently about the Digimon game where apparently all your main characters can die if you make the wrong choices. I mean, I know Digimon Horror Story is a thing. I didn't expect it would lean in so heavily, but in fairness, they are digital monsters. And there was a bit of horror or fear in the olden days when the first Taichi and his crew were stuck in the digital world, running from their lives on a daily basis. Good memories. Though I'm surprised none of those kids needed therapy later. Ah, well. Although watching the Digimon subtitled, as that finally came out here in America, I continually wonder about the idea of, what was it? Over here in America, Mimi was considered sincerity, but over there it was purity. And I always wonder about the Japanese and their depiction of a pure heart, which is often terribly selfish. The idea is that it's childlike, but you think of Goku or Mimi, and you think, yeah, you know, they did some things that were kind of cruel. Cruel in the way a child can be unintentionally cruel. Is that part of the pure hearts, I'm not as big a fan of that. Oh yeah, they also say in Mobile Suit Gundam, Char is pure of hearts as he tries to drop an asteroid on the Earth. You're just like, wow, purity sucks. There we are. Now, I'm trying not to give them quite the Equestria Girls huge head, bell-bottom feet proportions. Honestly, it's like in a slightly different style. But one thing at a time, eh? Let's see. I also want to make sure that I don't display Twilight as like some super buff character, but at the same time, not a little waif of a person either. And yes, funny enough, the sketch I did was in the very journal here that I used for the hand model. So I find just a little bit of delight in that humor. Here we go. Oh, come on. Grab you, pull you over. There we go. I think, yes. There we go. Now, right now, it's just the basic pose. I will worry about clothing in the next round. But, of course, don't think for a minute this is going to be After Dark NC-17. Oh, hello, Redamon565. Oh God, Gen 6, My Little Pony is live action. Yeah, there's, I haven't heard any updates and we're halfway through the year. I have to wonder, this promised year of the horse may not be as eventful as I had first thought. Ah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Hasbro's doing its own thing. Here we go. But I would like some new pony news. It's been a while. I needs like a little bit of a shot of fandom rejuvenation, if you will. Oh yes, Renamon. I heard about Sony's decision, and I don't agree with it. For those who are not aware, how do I explain this? Years ago, when the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, odd naming convention there, when they were coming out, the Xbox One really shot itself in the foot by mostly defining itself by limitations. By saying how you had to have a game library and you couldn't lend a game to, or just, give your friend a disc to try out, because it would be linked to your account, and if you didn't have a purchase with the account, well, then you couldn't play the game, so on and so forth. And that was their critical flaw. No matter what their intent was, they only defined themselves by what it wouldn't have, and therefore I think they did themselves a disservice. PlayStation fired back with a tutorial on how to share games. And it was just hand your friend the disc. And it was, I consider to be one of the greatest gotchas, or, oh, this is how you do it, son. But now, apparently, the same madness has infected PlayStation as they're saying, come 2028, we will stop production of physical media. Anything you buy in a store will just be a case with a little print card of your download code for the game. I.e., there will be no disc involved. There's no point in having a booklet. And I just think that's a terrible idea. The real goal here is to control the market, I believe, to make it so that you can't give away games or sell them for less. People will have to buy from the store. And if it's digital only, then there's very little reason to really go to, say, Target, Walmart, or GameStop, because you'll still just get things online. I believe Sony is trying to make it so they don't have to rely on anyone else now to help sell their products. And as a result, I think they're doing themselves a disservice, because at that point, I'm not gonna buy a PlayStation 6, which is where this will apparently take hold. Hell, I gifted my friends PlayStation 5s when they were first coming out and very difficult to find. So I'm not doing it again. I'll just get a gaming rig if AI hasn't driven up the RAM cost so horribly. Yeah, I'm kind of bitter right now at all the terrible changes that are happening to the world of both computers and computer gaming. The best thing about consoles was that you didn't need to go out and shop for extra parts or continually upgrade. The console version, even if it wasn't as snazzy as the computer version, was ready to go right away. Nowadays, you have to run updates, which is strangely apropos. I recently bought on physical media Cyberpunk 2077. And yes, I am aware of how that game got its, let's call it a start, and how poorly that went. But now that they've done a lot of fixes, there's still some funny moments, some silly events, but by and large, it's a great game. I'm enjoying playing it. But I want the physical media. I want the knowledge that even if servers go offline, even if they stop supporting a certain game, if I'm feeling like plugging it in and trying it out again, here we are. But I can't do that with if there's only a digital version of the game. It's very disappointing. Shocker 27 wonders about Magic the Gathering. Should it be a sorcery anime series or a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff? Well, how to best describe? Magic the Gathering, as far as I'm aware, puts a lot of effort into world building. So I'm more a fan of making a sorcery series. Yu-Gi-Oh, I know that they've had cards that tell a story. What was one of the earliest ones I recall is the Cruel Fate of Giga Gogo, the little reptile lizard man, troublemaker in his youth, a brave warrior, but eventually lost himself fighting a terrible evil and became a mindless being of destruction, only to be resurrected, less powerful than before, but redeemed. All that if you just follow the cards. KGK Skull is encouraging everyone to do anything to get to work, including, well, if you need a little bit of an artificial high, sniffing glue. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Instead, just find something that you really enjoy, eh? Now, since I'm going to revise this, I guess I don't need to really add a taper to the effect. So let's be modest here. There we are. Looks like concept sculptures for the Monster High dolls. Well, the Monster High dolls, that's a whole other genre. Okay, we got a Common Rider and MLP Stretch. Would you see Fluttershy just adoring Love Cove from Revice? Just her hugging. Oh, dear. Okay, we need a little context for everybody who may not have watched Common Rider Revice. Let me pull up an image real quick. Finding an image that gives a... Well, gosh darn, they got a lot of... Here we are. Here we are, everyone. This is Love Cove. How to best put this, how to best describe this? In the world of Revice, everyone has an inner demon, but that demon doesn't necessarily mean evil, such as Love Cove, who is, let's see here, this was Common Rider Jean? No. I'm trying to, it's been a little bit, so I'm trying to remember Sakura Igarashi's inner demon, but they become Common Rider Invincible Jean. Essentially, she is the weakness that Sakura saw in herself and overcame. But she's also an encourager. She's, well, she can only speak in leva, and is pretty dang adorable. I actually got a plushie of her from my friend Cruelica. So yes, I could definitely see Fluttershy just adoring this little demon. Though it's also worth noting that she loves to listen to death metal at high volumes and has maybe a hidden snarky side. But yes, the Fluttershy would totally go in for Love Cove and would not, I don't think she'd be put off at all by the concept of a, quote, demon. Now I want to see Revice again. It had some pretty good humor to it. Now, I remember there was also some controversy because the voice actor for the main character's demon, Vice, he was questioned because apparently in an early role in his career, he did things in blackface. Now, here's sort of, how can I put it, a tension within me, a debate. The whole blackface was just wrong. Right and wrong, I don't believe, change with time. acceptable is not the same thing as right. And so, yes, I do think it was a wrong thing to do. But there also, it's hard to know what is right when everyone's saying, oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. So, nothing to be proud of, but also it's more important to learn from and move beyond than punish for eternity. So that's my take on it. And the guy did a good job. And I believe he was actually pretty respectful throughout the series. So I just remember that and having to reflect on, well, what do I think? Now, another caveat I will add to that philosophy is if someone hasn't learned from the mistake, well, then that feels like a waste, doesn't it? A mistake only has value if you learn from it. Otherwise, it's just a wound. Now, let's see how this hand is looking. Looking kind of broken, if you ask me. Let's add a little bit of taper. I also have to confess that my brain is not working at 100%, which is nothing new, but I was up late last night playing Cyberpunk 2077. Which is funny, I've never really gotten into the whole cyberpunk genre, though I'm curious now. I will say Edge Runners did a lot for that. I've also had the romantic theme, I really want to stay at your house, in my head, since somehow I just got hooked on it last week, even though I'd heard it before. But who can know the workings of an inner mind sometimes? Now then, let's move these anchor points up a little. And we'll just slide this in a little more. Enderpup's favorite punk is Diesel Punk. Also, good to have you here, Enderpup. I believe I said, let's see here once. So the counter has not gone up very much. Ice Punk, now that would be interesting. I don't even know how that would work. Ice Punk. Everything's frozen, so well, then that would just be an alternate version of Steampunk. No, I'd have to give some thought as to how that would actually work. I suppose my biggest hurdle to cyberpunk is the dystopian nature of it. The seemingly pessimism of amazing advances in cybernetic technology, but humanity, boy, we really suck in its application. Granted, one need only look around and wonder about that. So I can't say that it's inaccurate. I guess I like the optimism of, say, Star Trek and its future, or Babylon 5, where, well, as an article I recently read stated, it wasn't an easy go, and it wasn't humanity was not in a good place, but they got better as the series progressed. There was a sense that through hard work and a lot of heartbreak, but also celebration, the cast managed to make the universe a slightly better place, and humanity by extension. Now, I don't know a book to have any truly hard edges, so let's soften that up a little. Draconic Punk. Now there, okay. That'd be something. Shocker 27, we will see you later. You have a good weekend. And Briggs7 recommends Take Foundry for a video on the various punk genres. See, Adam Leisman, you saw Stone Punk as a description and thought it was what you get if you made cyberpunk in a Flintstones world. I have so many questions about the various creatures they'd employ for jobs. Maybe leeches? I know there's plenty of jokes about toilets in the Flintstones world. Oh, the things I've seen. I'm thinking of Robot Chicken. We're basically, oh, don't stop him. He almost set me free. Or how about Harvey Birdman? You're dead to me, can opener. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do a search for Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. I guarantee you'll find it fascinating. Hanna-Barbera, as you've never seen it before. I know, I just realized what's wrong with the Twilight. Can't see your thumb. Also, I need more of a bend here. More of a swoop. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily wrong. The thumb is there on the other side of the pointer and index. There we are. Here we are. Yep. And up here. Even in vectors, hands are tricky. You ain't kidding, Cosmin Inspira. Ah, Peppermint, you remember. Ah, Sweetie Bloom, yes. This is my new PNG silver. It was apparently semi-transparent. That's interesting. Why is he semi-transparent? Ah, it must be the keying. Well, that's okay. The idea here is that I wanted a little representation of myself without having to rely on a webcam. And so, therefore, I've found this program. What's it called again? Viadu Tube. I'm probably mispronouncing that as well. Oh well. And so now I have a little silver quill just to say, hey, I'm here. I'm actually talking. I talk. I have not yet tested this if I have, say, a guest. I would like to know what will happen then. Okay, looking good there, but a bit negligent at the edges. There we are. There we go. Give her a good dictionary. What color am I making this book? Asked the doc. Doc at your service. Oh, I've got 2 docs now. I will say I'm going to try and make it like based on the book that started the series. Try being the optimal word. And let's try a little something like this. There we go. And sweetie, I appreciate you singing the praises of my face, but I think people recognize the Boyd more. The Boyd. Also, yesterday I helped my future sister-in-law set up a webcam and lighting in her office, and I thought, I really am not photogenic. It's unfortunate, but you know, can't have it all. I've come to appreciate my dulcet tones, but people hold strange expectations then. I shall always recall the shock and horror people expressed when I did the ice bucket challenge. And some people thought, wait, this guy's white? I've never quite understood that surprise. Like, I understand people's delusions or daydreams, but did I ever give an impression otherwise? I think I've worked very hard to deserve my reputation of mayonnaise on Wonder Bread in a snowstorm being eaten by a polar bear. Oh dear, you're trying not to melt. And oh, it's the same doc. But trying hard not to melt. I've heard about the awful heat plaguing Europe. Here in Colorado, it's warm, but it's not. It's nothing unusual. It's just hot, but not nearly as hot as other places in the country. So in this case, we're getting off pretty easy, I think. Now, easy is not what I would call getting these points to join up. What gives? Alrighty, coming along. And I feel like I've done this book a disservice. It's unbalanced in its pages. There we go. Welcome back, Sheriff Left Belly. Uh-oh, Enderpup, it'll be 100 degrees on Saturday afternoon. I'm hoping the chapel will have air conditioning for the wedding. Ah, Sweetie Bloom, we were not disappointed. Just that people online have strange fantasies. They seem to think every YouTuber is going to look like a supermodel. Oops. Here we go. Here we are. Coming along. Striking a good pose. And now am I getting the spinny beach ball of doom? Dirty Dab Sandwich, you assumed that when you were a kid that people looked like their OCs. Well, I gotta say, I would have one heck of a schnoz if that was the case. Well, Sweet Bloom, I think I did meet you for the first time in at Babs, but at that point I was still getting the lay of land for everybody. I knew so little. And now I know so many awesome peeps. So just need a little time. Oh, come here. Come on. Swordbreaker, you hate that personally owned media is dying. Also, Eggman, we will see you later. You have a good one. Enderpup wonders what kind of Twilight I'm thinking. Sci-Twi or Equestria Twilight? I'm going to go with Equestria Twilight. in terms of outfit style. No diss to Sci-Twi. Nope, no dictation. But I feel like Equestria's Twilight matches Optimus a bit better. Now, Optimus, of course, has a variety of origin stories depending on where you are. And while I like Transformers 1, I think that War Dawn, the comic, or was it The War Within, that portrayed him as an archivist and librarian, that's the one that really seemed to grab people. Uh-oh. Now Sweetie Bloom begins the barrage of donations. I'm onto your trickery. Just as you and Trinary are co-conspirators in having me watch Hamilton. Oh, the machinations of these two. Can't take my eyes off them for a minute. Now, let's move this hand. The ball joint causes a slight issue. Alrighty. Let's see now. Let's try something a little crazy here. I'm gonna group this up. Again, I'm gonna try, I guess we can go without this for a minute. I'm going to try using the pin tool. Get rid of you, and you, and you. Oh, that's kind of funny. Woo! I'm going into a twirl. Twirl, twirl, twirl. But no, don't. Interesting. Now, if I get rid of that pin. Oh. Okay, so maybe not quite like that. Now I need to do a little bit of fixing here. Hand looks okay. Ah! What happened there? Boom. Now, if I take these components, there we go, and we're going to rotate it. Debating whether she should have a bit more of a lean to her. Well, actually, I think that's pretty good. Not looking for her to be super stylized. No, Preston Cox, I don't believe I can sound like Elmo. I'm more baritone than that. Uh-oh. We're talking about fireworks and dogs now? Oh, yeah, I heard some fireworks going off last night. I thought, geez, guys, it isn't even the weekend yet. And here's my thing. I like fireworks. I do think they're pretty. I do not like their effect on dogs. And so, given the choice, I like fireworks, but I love dogs more. So I'm fine with like drone shows and some good music. Emphasis on good. One song I've come to greatly dislike is called The Red, White, and Blue. I forget who sings it, but it was written in a post 9/11 America. I understand anger and hyper-patriotism were very much a thing at that time. But boy, I do not like that song. It basically is saying, yeah, you got us with a cheap shot, but we're coming to kill you all. And, well, I'm disappointed that we couldn't be more than that. I might as well say this here and now. I hope to make like a Blue Sky post. It's easy to not feel terribly patriotic if you're struggling with the actions in the White House and, well, a heavily partisan political landscape. But we're still the great experiment. Something that hasn't been tried in centuries, and any experiment is going to have its setbacks, its mistakes. The thing is, we're still here to keep trying. We're still in the political landscape, capable of being better. Better than we were yesterday. Maybe we'll have a little backslide, but we can come back from that as well. It's all part of the great American experiment. And I'm glad that we're still ticking. I believe in, if not in the America we have right now, the America we can become. That said, I'm not going anywhere near that reflecting pond anytime soon. Actually, it's funny. It's supposed to be a reflecting pool, but pond somehow feels more accurate given all that's going on there. Whoa, what happened there? What is happening that makes this group disappear? How interesting. Apparently putting it above the blend helps. Now, what's going on? Uh-oh. My little experiment had its own hiccups. Come along. Now, one. There we go. Now then. Ever stayed indoors during the 4th of July? Preston asks. No? What can I say? I've always, well, okay, for a long time, my friends who lived south of me in a town called Lone Tree, there was an RTD, Rapid Transit Development, light rail station. And it had this grand panoramic view of the city and the suburbs. So we would go up there on the 4th of July, and while we couldn't hear the music, we could see just about every kind of celebration taking place around Denver. It was beautiful and usually pretty cool temperature-wise and experience. And each year there'd be more people because word of this magnificent spectacle got out. Just adding some pages so it's not just a book lying flat, it's interactive. Oh, wow, it's already the top of the hour, geez. Now, I'm also going to create a little divider so I can keep a sense of Twilight's face. There we go. Here we go. Yep. You know, it's kind of funny. I will start my grand adventures tomorrow with hopefully early in the morning with a dishwasher delivery, because it's an hour and a half drive to where this pre-wedding dinner will take place. But I'm waiting for a phone call to say when these guys are going to be there. A little worried that I haven't heard squat yet. What's this, Trinary? You stopped celebrating the 4th of July? Let's see. Funny how the ballet thing is connected with the Transformers project. While you were cooking dinner, you had a random thought on a storyline for Transformers musical. Honestly, I would pay to see that. And hopefully it goes better than, say, Spider-Man on Broadway. Poor Spider-Man actors. Ah, rats. I must transport these deeper into the group. still, now I'm picturing Optimus Prime in a tutu, and, well, that's its own thing. Excuse me. Now, well, Preston, sadly I didn't get all your VeggieTale references because I haven't watched the series. I had a roommate in college who the VeggieTales thing was like his startup music for his computer. So I became very familiar with the VeggieTale theme songs, if nothing else. Now, come on, you all are supposed to be in the book group. No, let's keep it this way. Okay. So now we need to work on that Twilight Sparkle hair. That's why in both the sketch and the screenshot, I like Twilight, the arc of Twilight's hair. Although, since technically there's no definitive side on which the stripe works, let's see what we can cook up here. Here we go. Here we go. And what else is going on? Oh, yes, Preston said I was a symbol of America, which, boy, we're in trouble if that's true. But I will say I had some great fortune this past Monday. I managed to find at a second market toy store something that's fully patriotic to me. This is Mythic Legion's Egalis, a bird in armor with full American colors. I mean, I just love that. Unfortunately, I found out about the Mythic Legions too late to get in on some of the other avian representatives. I mean, you got all manner of birds. Huh. Apparently, and a comic? But I mean, look at this. You could have a rooster knight and a parrot, and I believe there's a robin in there somewhere. Keep my eyes open for them, but dang, they can get pricey. I mean, wow. So yes, I will show my patriotism with a toy of a mythical Boyd. Here we go. Now I've effectively hidden the chat from myself. Okay, here we go. Tim Curry is now singing Toxic Love in my head, Swordbreaker 12. That depends on if I've ever had it ever stopped. No, Enderpup, I don't think I'll draw wings on a horn. This one, it's not meant to be that they only have these traits when they pony up. It's very much who they are. Plus, I just haven't done a lot of Equestria Girl stuff. Here we go. So now here, down to here, here, here. Getting there. This is just masking out some of the other stuff so that this will look nice and reliable. And I can keep tabs on what's what. What was the name of that toy light again? Oh, Sweetie Bloom, okay. It is the Mythic Legions. But just as an example, let me show you real quick. Legions. This is to discourage you from such an attempt. That Robin is going for $250. A Phoenix is $345. Good God. Oh, they did cut. Oh, someone 3D printed heads. That's a good solution. And then, what do we got here? Gotheropolis Falcon. Good. Wow, that's a mouthful. I mean, I looked out. The Egalis I got was only like 60. That's still steep, but well, this is done by the expert crafters of the Four Horsemen. So there are some bird heads out there that have been 3D printed. That's smart. Because yeah, look at the rooster is almost 300. It's craziness, I tells you. Absolute craziness. Oh, and there's a duck for 550. Good Lord. I mean, you gotta admit, if you're gonna have a duck warrior. Oh, so Gotheropolis is the series line, but that's one expensive duck. Oh, excuse me. And you can quote me on that. That's one expensive duck. Silver-Quill 2026. Madness, I say. Absolute madness. Oops. I took away part of Twilight's neck there. There we go. Better. Actually, I should have been doing that to the entire. Here we go. Here we are. This is a feature I only recently discovered. If you highlight or select two objects and hit Make Mask, the top one will become a mask to the bottom one. It's very convenient. Ah, drat. Didn't quite get it that time. Warhammer minis are worse, says Inquisitor 751. Also, hello. That's a good point, Enderpup. In-box is usually expensive. I have this philosophy. A toy, a figure, whatever you want to call it, is meant to be interacted with. If it stays in the box, that invalidates a good chunk of its existence. So I'm not a big mint in box guy. I appreciate that there are collectors who are. I'm just not one of them. Now, continuing the Twilight's hair arc. There we go. Tomorrow is your birthday, Crash Bandicoot Edward. Marvelous. Happy birthday. You know, I've been thinking of 3D printing. Folks are mentioning the 3D printed heads, and Preston points out I should 3D print myself, which, well, okay, right now I'm thinking of a scene in Red Dwarf where they had a human printer. It literally printed a clone of your body and then uploaded your personality into it. Of course, like every printer, it got jammed or off track, so humor abounds. But I've been thinking about getting into 3D printing, seeing what I could create. But I think I'd need to rely on someone else to make like the 3D file. I'm not as versed in that yet. Certainly not versed enough that I'd want to create anything that I try to sell with it. No. Here we go. Now, once again, I must cover part of this with a mask. Whoop, there's a slight issue. Sweet Bloom continues her barrage. Would I ever fight Megatron? You know, folks suggested that for the Megatron standee, it be Silver-Quill and Megatron. I would lose. There is no question of that. Mr. Peace Through Tyranny has about a couple million years of fighting experience on me. And he's a lot bigger, too. Let's change this up a little. Get a little bit more diversity in... Nope, that won't work. There we go. And now, let's try... Where is it? There it is. This profile. Ooh. There we go. That's starting to look more... look a little bit better. But again, this ain't Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if I want the hair to be sharp. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Got that you poke your eyes out on those bangs. There we go. Just give myself to Korn and I'll win? I don't know, Inquisitor. I don't have a lot of skulls for the Skull Throne. Trying to raise this an interesting point that Nightmare Moon and Megatron have a certain element of tragedy to them. Though with Megatron, it's, well, it really depends. Some he's just evil from the get-go. Some he's actually, he falls into it. Sometimes he loses his way. They've had a couple decades to try multiple iterations of Megatron. Now here's something I'm going to enjoy drawing, a nose. Now then, Twilight's eyes, which are huge. And I'll also, well, first I'll put these over here. And I'm going to move this over a little. fact, let's angle this up a little. Yeah, schnauzes are not my forte either. Rig 7, have a wonderful weekend. We will catch you again. But take care. Yes, I'm going for a certain level of more realistic, almost in honor of the 80s, where characters were trying to look, well, certainly idealized, but not, it's kind of like they're cartoony, but a cartoon that's trying very hard to look serious. That was the style of G.I. Joe and Mask and Silverhawks and, well, all manner of things. And of course, the Transformers. More than meets the eye. Still unsure about this here schnozzle. Gonna have to look up some tutorials on how to draw a nose. Because even in Equestria Girls, that ain't coming up very often. All right. Me in the 80s. Yep. I'm an 80s child. Fetch, Twilight or Starlight? I'm going to go with Twilight. Purple eyes for the win, as it were. Now then, with this, I believe I can remove those, but I still, oh yeah, that nose definitely needs some fine tuning. Honestly, if I keep manipulating things, I might just get it right by accident. But let's also smaller mouth line, and let's see. This kind of looked like lips to begin with, so nope, that won't work. What if I flip it? No? Nope. Alrighty. Let's see, can I also get a bit of a lip? Nope. Huh. Can I not do anything right there? Interesting. Ah! 0063. There we are. That was unexpected. There we go. Let's see. Trinary was an 80s and 90s child, 1984. Thank God it wasn't like the book. I was born at the very tail end of 1980, December 10th. Sweetie Bloom is an 80s baby, but 90s kids. Preston Cox, which Transformer character would I compare to Boba Fett? Well, that's a tough one. See, Boba Fett, I know the fandom, like, just adores the guy. I've never really held with the whole bounty hunter honor thing. Maybe they have a code of conduct, but he was willing to serve the Empire. I think Cyclonus would be a good example. He emphasizes a code of honor, but he's still one of the bad guys. Of course, he's also Galvatron's apologist. I'll always love an episode where Cyclonus, after Galvatron essentially attacks their own team and does the job for the Autobots, he tries to get Galvatron some mental help. And, well, hilarity and destruction ensues. Because they made Galvatron cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Of course, he got Beta. Alrighty. Now we're at the bottom half of the hour. So I'm going to try something just a little different, and then we're going to switch to drawing the symbols of the primes. Rather than just 3 lashes like in the show, object, blend, make, object, blend, options. Let's see how many. I don't want to go overboard. That's for rarity. Alrighty. But I need to move these up a little. Ah, I know what to do. Goodness. Let's take down object blend. Let's reduce the number of steps there, eh? Maybe make them a little smaller. So I'm thinking of that Simpsons where Lisa goes to some sort of girl pop idol, and there's a competitor who has like these stiletto blade eyelashes. I thought that operation was illegal. It's not illegal in Tijuana. Well, Peppermint, I don't think I've ever been drawn as a magical girl. I've certainly had some depictions of me in various dresses, but I don't think I've ever been magical girl Silver-Quill. Or maybe Princess Zucchini. Princess Kenny at the Red Robin wedding. I hope everyone's getting that reference. I'm going to feel really old otherwise. Specified steps. There you go. There we go. A little heavy on the lashes, but still looking good, I think. Don't think I'm doing the hair quite right, though. Paraguay. Okay, the eyelashes surgery was in Paraguay. Tijuana is where Krusty took the kids to apologize for Camp Krusty. All right. And one last thing. If I drew another nostril, shrink it down, that's a little bit better, I think. No? Okay, well, that's coming along. Yes, Enderpup, the stream shall have to conclude at the top of the hour because, well, I've got good things going. I have a call with a very good friend, and I'm going to have to pack for travel. It's only for 2 days, really, so not a huge endeavor. Certainly nothing on the level of a convention, but still. All right, so for right now, I will need to ponder how to draw Twilight, her eyes, because I'd like them to be a bit more interesting than just a gradient with some highlights. I've seen some ideas online of how to draw eyes, and I found them quite intriguing. And of course, little corrections here and there. Come on. Ah, there you are. There we go. Okay. So more to consider with Twilight's design and, well, case in point, I've never been a big fan of these huge feet and the bell bottom approach. So redesign those somewhat. But I like this pose more. I feel like it just emphasizes the book more. And I need to get some magic going in between the book and her hand. But now we change our mission to the 13 primes, who the last bits are kind of upside down. So let's fix that. Huh. I apparently copied Onyx Prime. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Halfway there. But now we go with Liege Maximo, who, boy, if you were reading Transformers Generation 2 back in the 90s, you would see some pretty wild designs that were essentially, well, they were pure 80s. They were, everybody had oversized guns and looked super broody serious. The tagline was, "Not your father's Autobot." Well, my father didn't play with Autobots. Unless he played with me. He was good about making time to play games with me and my brother. But he never played Optimus Prime. But then they introduced Liege Maximo, who looks, in my opinion, ridiculous. He's supposed to be intimidating, but it just didn't work for me. Then come the 2010s, and they reintroduced the character as more of a Loki figure, or Loki design. That one was also okay. I do, however, find it funny that they only some of the primes actually bear the title. I mean, is it Alpha Trion Prime? Is it Megatronus Prime? Well, that makes sense. Vector Prime and Prima Prime. Well, they got it down. Actually, this half of the circle has primes pretty good. But these guys, apparently they were too cool for that. There we go, I think. Well, let's align this proper like. Align you and you. Oh, I guess they are centered. All right, moving ever onwards. Who's next after Twilight and Prime? I'm going to say Sunset Shimmer and Rodimus Prime. Sort of the second wave of leaders, both made mistakes, but Rosebud, I will always feel that it was a mistake to return, how can I put this? Losing Optimus Prime messed with a lot of kids. I ain't denying that. Bringing him back may have brought some satisfaction, but there's also that idea of, when someone passes, no matter what the bargaining phase, you can't bring them back. And I'm not just saying, oh, you need to toughen up. It's more, it hurts, but it gets better with time. I've always loved the description, I forget the name of the author, though. A person writing for the comics after Captain America died, who drew on the experience of losing his own son to have this. That, as Wolverine explains it, one day you'll be walking along and you smell a scent or you hear a song and suddenly the hole rips wide open again and you miss them terribly. But with time, it closes up faster. And so for Optimus to come back, Rodimus had to fall. And that certainly didn't do anything to help his reputation in the fandom. I know people who still hold a grudge against Hot Rod for the Transformers movie, which is currently going around theaters in an apology tour, which I don't really understand. They say, oh, sorry we killed Optimus and traumatized you. Here, re-experience it. Look, you can still see the life leaving Prowl's eyes as he dies. Yeah, that movie went hard. Harder than necessary, maybe. But then again, people may not have expected it to go that route. So I appreciate the, let's call it creative drive involved. Also, let's also appreciate that the music has run out and I still have stuff to do. I know I always say I need to get more songs in this, but I always put it off. Actually, now that I look at my Cronus' symbol, it's kind of like a jester's hat, with a motley. You expect two little bells at the end of this. Very peculiar. Yep, Fetch is correct. Liege Maximo is the prime of chaos. Okay, Trinary points out that as fictional characters, sure, they could come back. That you really trying to force real life. Yeah, and I can see that. But real life, I always think stories do in some ways reflect that. Even the grieving process for Optimus was, well, perhaps a preview of real life. I was talking about this with Cruelica after we saw Kubo and the 2 strings. Or was it 10 strings? I'm forgetting the number. Wondered why so many children's movies feature the deaths of parents. And you realize, well, perhaps it's a way to show kids, look, this is going to happen at some point. It's going to hurt, but you're going to be okay. You know what? Slight change in plan here. But then I guess a more modern version would be, was it Fast and the Furious? They, in the second movie, they like killed off a really beloved character, and then in a more recent movie, he was like, "Oh, I'm back." I don't even know how he's back. I didn't particularly care enough to find out. But it's kind of funny. Or how about Kingsman? It's not that the second one, it's not that I resented Harry coming back. It's more that when it was time for another noble sacrifice, I thought, well, kind of know death doesn't have a lot of weight in this, right? So it's a weird paradox. Mortality in fiction is a curious topic. I remember in the Star Wars books, way before they did the sequel series, they killed Chewbacca. And Han reflected that the bubble was gone. They weren't anyone could die now, which was not entirely true. I mean, characters certainly did die. Whew. But the bubble wasn't gone. You know, the main characters would still survive the day. All right, that takes care of Alpha Trion and Micronus and Liege Maximo. All that's left is, funny enough, Megatronus. Who, if I'm... Oh, and Vector Prime, my bad. But Megatronus, that looks like a mouth guard. You know, these three are the chin, this is the mouth, some spikes off to the side. Go. Actually, I should wait on that. Whoops, should have locked that. And I shouldn't. I put that there. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Let's unite these. There you are. Alrighty, that takes care of Megatronus. Two strings. Okay, folks, we're confirming Kubo and the two strings. If parents were alive and functional, their children would be protected enough to not need to adventure. Well, But then there's always that point of sometimes you got to let the kid go to seek out. Granted, in stories, it's usually absurdly early, in my opinion. All right, Preston, have a good weekend. We'll catch you later. Well, either which way, we all have a view on fiction and what speaks to us, what doesn't. And that's part of the fun of fiction. If people can present their views with respect, as you folks are doing, then I think it's easier to have a dialogue. It's when people get very angry and sort of conduct themselves with the tone of, how can anyone like this? Well, maybe it's not their problem that they like it. Maybe you need to take a moment and say, what don't I like about this? And is that universal? Oops. Outline that. Outline all of you. And then we'll divide it up. Boop. And there we go. Vector Prime and the 13 are now represented. Next step is to give them some colors and have them hover around Optimus Prime, as it were. Whoops. Let's see, I want them aligned, yeah, in the middle. There we go. Lovely. I mean, 13, that's certainly more than the primary colors of the rainbow. But I can find some other stuff. So we've made some headway. I've got to look into the idea of noses. I've got to consider a few more things with Twilight, but I'm pleased how this is coming together. You know what? I'll just make some duplicates of the 13 so I can actually start stylizing them. Although, wait, I have to count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, okay, 12 all here. according to Transformers lore, Optimus is the 13th Prime, but not just in the modern era. It's that he is, more recent stories have put out forth the idea he is a reincarnation of the unnamed Prime. So there was a 14th, but nobody remembers what to call him. Then enter Optimus Prime. There we go. But, well, one thing at a time. Only one, let's see here. I'll have to work on that. The amount of 10-year-olds wandering the wilderness alone to trap animals and force them to fight is concerning. Oh, dear. Well, Pokemon's got its own thing going. Still, some of those trainers might find friends for life and don't die. There's a question. How many trainers, I don't know if y'all have watched the literal Pokedex entries from Dorkly, but man, some of the horrifying ideas they put forth, like Hound Doom. If you're burnt by this fire-based doggo, it never stops burning. You never heal. It sounds quite horrible, in fact. So how many kids grow up with this burn scar that never stops hurting? Oh, God. Oh, so no, Pokemon and the hidden eldritch aspects is a topic for another day. A day after the 4th of July, which, like I say, I understand if it's harder to celebrate the 4th given all the turmoil in our country, but our country exists as an grand experiment in new ideas and different styles of governance, and we learn with each iteration. I have faith in the America of the future, even if I criticize the America of the past. So, with that in mind, I will wish you all a very happy 4th of July weekend in the company of friends, enjoying it on your own, with fireworks, without. I hope if you have a dog that they are kept safe and calm as best you're able. But I will catch you again next week for hopefully a more regular schedule. But until then, everybody, be safe and be well. I'm Silver-Quill. Thanks for watching.